trying to discuss about the future of education. The challenges are so huge. In 10 minutes, it already feels like a joke, so I'm going to be skipping all the beginning jokes and go straight to business. This is how the schools looked like roughly about 100 years ago. This is how they looked like 50 years ago, and this is how they look like today in most of the places. And if you're analyzing what has been happening in the world during the past 100 years, if you're analyzing what is happening now, for example, here in Slush, you are talking about VR, you are talking about augmented reality, you are talking about coding, robotics, and so on and so on. I think that it has been extremely difficult for schools to stay with the pace of the development in the world at the moment. So pretty much everyone, every expert in the world globally agrees that schools have to change. There's going to be a massive disruption. And it's going to be financially also, it's a massive market. There's been estimations that the global education market is roughly about 6.5 trillion and rising, and so on. But the complicated thing in here is that education market is almost totally unlike any other market you are talking about, because there's gatekeepers in each and every country, in each and every district. There are national silos, there are local silos, there are officials, and so on. So it's extremely difficult to, for example, disrupt the education like Uber has been disrupting the transportation, or Airbnb has been disrupting the hotel business. And I think that one of the few things that have been working globally is to use best practices. Let's take, for example, Kahoot, which is going to be in this stage today. Kahoot has been developing some kind of game platform that schools all over the world can use, and it's been used by 20 million kids globally at the moment. And I think that the world will see a lot of this kind of innovations that travel from country to country to country. At the moment, if you are thinking about the life of the kids, let's say kids who are 12, 15 years old, their life is quite international. They are using Snapchat, they are using Facebook, they are using Periscope or whatever, and the normal day of the kids is quite global. But when they go to school, the school is almost totally national at the moment, and this is something that has to change. We in our company in Scool, what we are doing is that we are trying to create best practices. We are testing them with the best schools in Finland, and with the best students, with the best teachers. And once we have a feeling is that they work, then we try to take them global. I will present the biggest project we are doing in a few minutes, but to explain what we are really doing, I'll give you a couple of examples. Like I mentioned in the beginning of my speech, the changes that are happening outside of schools are massive. And it's extremely complicated for teachers to understand what is happening outside of schools. And if you are terrified about the change, it's complicated to make kids excited. So what we decided to do is that we are creating a series of seminars where we are explaining the change happening all over the world for Finnish teachers. We are bringing best experts to talk about climate warming. We are talking about 3D printing, robotics, startups, and so on. We've been doing it now for 5 years in Finland. It's been sold out every time. Videos have been watched more than 100,000 times in Finnish schools. We are doing exactly the same the same concept. We've been taking the same concept global this year. We've been organizing the seminars in Helsinki, in Sweden, Stockholm, in Amsterdam, Netherlands, in Poland, Warsaw, and in Vilnius. And it's been successful in each and every country. It's been sold out. And our goal is to take this concept to 20+ countries within the following 2 or 3 years. Our mission to help the teachers understand the change that is happening outside of the schools. The other example of the stuff we are doing is Triplet. We are taking evening news and we are turning evening news into education material overnight. So yesterday's news, each and every Finnish teacher can get the evening news to their mobile phone, so that there's a piece of the news, video clip, then there's the background for the news, And then there are ideas on how to use the information in school class, in real time, only like few hours after the news has been transmitted. All the ideas for education have been created by Finnish teachers. We launched the service roughly about four weeks ago, and it's used by 5,000 school teachers every week in Finland, and the feedback has been extremely good. And like I said, we are about to launch the second country within 2 weeks. We are already quite far away with the negotiations. And this is another example. Our goal is to create services like this, test them in Finland, and try to take them global and help schools change. But the biggest project we are launching is going to be my main topic today. Finland will turn 100 years in 2017. And as many of you might know, Finland is having one of the best education systems in the world. And our goal is sort of like to analyze what has been making Finnish education system so great and how to make certain that it's even better in the following 100 years. And what will we do? We will create best practices in Finland on 4 areas. We are analyzing what are the skills schools should be teaching for kids in the future. And I think that they are quite unlike the skills we are teaching today. Then what kind of people should be facilitating the learning process? Is it only teachers? Is it startup people? Is it old people? Should you use kindergartens? Should it be refugees? Should it be companies and so on and so on? We are analyzing what are the spaces, how the schools should look like. And then we are discussing with the best education experts, how should we change education policy in order to make the change possible. What we are doing in practice. In fall 2016, we are starting 100 bold experiments in these 4 areas. And we are testing the innovations for 12 months. After that period, we'll validate all the findings of each and every experiment with education experts, and then we are sharing it to the world. In order to be certain that the quality of our stuff is high enough, we are examining the 100 boldest innovations that are happening in education world in all the continents at the moment, and then we are interviewing 100 best experts on the future of education. What if they were kind of like in position to do a global change, what should be changed? And at the end of the process in 2017, we are sharing each and every insight, all the know-how with the world for free. So it's going to be a totally open platform for any teacher, any education expert, anywhere in the world. We are making a database, we are making a digital service, we are making a documentary, we are making a book, and we are making a series of seminars in all the continents and sharing the information with anyone who's interested in. We already have the Finnish government on board. We have the National Board of Education in Finland on board. We have the Union of Teachers on board. We are having few big names globally who are going to be on board. For example, Ken Robinson has agreed to be involved, and we are fully funded by the end of 2017. So this is what we are planning to do. And I'll give you a short example of the people we are interviewing. This is Andy Hargraves, who is one of the legends in education. He's written more than 25 books. And when we were asking from him, is that what should the future of Finnish education look like, this is what he said.
The next 100 years of Finnish education should first look like the best of the last 50 years, which values the whole child, the importance of cooperation, the significance of high value and high quality teachers, the connection of schools to their communities, and the importance of emotional and also cognitive learning. This should stay in the next 100 years. Some things should, some things endure. And the other half of the next 100 years is that they probably shouldn't be like the previous 50 years, not because the previous 50 years are bad, but because all successful organizations remain successful by the way they change, by the way they adapt, by the way they move ahead of everybody else before the trends are known by everyone. So just as Nokia was slow to adapt to finger-based technology on mobile phones, it's important that Finland is not slow to adapt to trends affecting it, like the digital world in schools, or the rise of the importance of immigrants and refugees, and different languages, and racial diversity. In sometime in the next 100 years, I would like to come to Finland if medical science would enable me to stay alive, and be able to say to the rest of the world, Finland historically has been a leader of equity in social class, in economic differences, in gender, in disabilities. Now look how Finland has become a world leader in equity in racial and ethnic differences. That will be one of the things I would love to see in the next 100 years.
So what is our goal in nutshell? Is that our goal is to make the biggest project on the future of education anywhere ever. And the project is totally non-profit. And like I said, we are sharing all the insights with the world, with whoever is interested. So if you're asking from me about the future of education, I think that it's ridiculous to try to understand that kind of change and explain the change in 10 minutes. But ask me in 2017, and I think that I'll know a bit more about the challenges the global education is facing. Anyone who is interested in the project, please join. Thanks for giving me a speech to talk here. Thank you.